You're standing in the kitchen, and someone you love asks if you're okay. And you say it before the question is even finished. I'm fine. You don't decide to say it. It just leaves you, smooth, automatic, already on its way out the door before you've checked whether it's true. Your hands keep moving. The lunch gets packed. The appointment gets scheduled. The text from your sister at 11 at night gets answered. Somebody needs something, and you are already turning toward it. I'm not here today for the woman who said I'm fine. I'm here for the one underneath her. You answer to everyone's name but your own. Mom, honey, the one who handles it. The one who remembers the birthdays and the refills and which kid hates which dinner. And I'm not talking to any of those. I'm talking to the woman those names were laid over, the one who's been so quiet for so long you might have to strain to hear her. She's still in there. Let's go get her. But first I want to tell you something about that phrase. I'm fine isn't a personality. It isn't manners. It's a reflex, and a reflex is something that was trained into you. There's a name for it. Researchers have been studying it for 30 years. They call it self-silencing, the habit of pushing down what you actually feel, what you actually need, so the room around you stays smooth and no one has to be uncomfortable on your account. And here's the part they keep finding. Study after study, across more than 50 of them. That habit is linked to depression, not in a dramatic falling apart way. In a quiet, I'm fine, nobody noticed way. You didn't need a clinical name for it. You lived it. You just called it being good. So let's go back. Not to a sweet memory, to the scene of the crime. Somewhere a long way back, there was a girl. And that girl figured something out, fast, the way kids figure out the weather in their own house. She learned that when she wanted something and said so, the room got a little colder. And when she went quiet, when she made herself small, when she handed her turn to someone else, the warmth came back. They called her mature. They called her easy. They said, look how good she is. Look how she never makes a fuss. She was being loved for disappearing. Sit with that for a second, because it's the whole engine of everything that came after. The first time you made yourself smaller and got rewarded for it, something in you filed away a rule it would run for the next 40 years. My needs are the thing I trade for love. Pay it enough times and you stop seeing it as a trade at all. It just becomes the air you breathe. I want to be careful here, because this is the part nobody says out loud. Girls get taught, not with one speech, but with 1,000 small reactions, that being agreeable is what gets you kept. That softening yourself is the price of belonging. The research on how girls are raised says this plainly enough, even if it can't measure every thread of it. And for a lot of you, there was a father in that house who expected his daughter to be the one who could take it, who carried, who didn't complain. So here's the trap, and I want you to feel how cruel it is. You got praised the most in the exact moments you were hurting the most. When your parents split and you held it together, they said you were so strong. When you didn't ask for help, because asking felt dangerous, they called you capable. Every time you swallowed the thing you needed, somebody handed you a gold star for it. And a child will do anything for the gold star. So you did it again and again. Until swallowing wasn't a choice anymore. It was just how you were built. That's not a virtue. Let's stop calling it selfless. It was trained, and it cost you something real. And you'd know her anywhere. The woman this built, because you've been her all day. She deflects the compliment before it lands. She says it's nothing about the thing that nearly broke her. Asked what she wants for dinner, for her birthday, for her one free afternoon, she says she doesn't mind, whatever's easiest. She feels actual guilt sitting down. She apologizes for things that were done to her. She waits until she is at the very edge before she asks for help, and even then she asks so quietly that nobody quite hears it, which lets everybody off the hook. She is far better at giving comfort than taking it. And if you asked her, point blank, whether she has suffered, she'd look at you like you'd lost your mind. Other people suffer. She's fine. Because here's what happens when you spend decades organizing yourself around what other people need. Researchers followed women through the middle of their lives, for years, and they kept finding the same thing. So many of these women had quietly lost themselves inside the people they loved, not because they were weak, because the caring had become what they were. For so long, I am the one who takes care of this was the whole answer to who am I, that when anything shifted, when a kid moved out or a marriage went still or a parent finally died, there was a question sitting there that they couldn't answer. Not what do I do now? Who am I now? And under that one, even quieter, what did I ever want before all of this? You might not be able to answer that. A lot of you can't. Ask yourself, right now, what do you want? Not what does anybody need, not what would be responsible. What do you want? And watch how the line goes dead. That silence isn't a flaw in you. That's the bill, decades overdue, finally being read out loud. And now I have to say the thing the gold stars were designed to keep you from saying. You're allowed to be angry. Nobody put a number on what you carried. Research did. Eventually, women in this country do about 2 out of every 3 hours of unpaid care that gets done. Somewhere around 300 hours a year, more than 7 full work weeks, packing the lunches, making the calls, holding the whole invisible schedule of a family in your head. The second shift, no one clocks. The one running inside your own skull at 2 in the morning. If somebody paid you for it, it'd be worth a few $1,000s a year you never saw. You didn't get paid. You barely got thanked. You got told you were so good at it. That's worth being angry about, not bitter, angry. There's a difference. Bitter is what happens when the anger has nowhere to go. The anger itself, that's just the sound she makes when you finally remember she's in there. And you reached a limit. You know you did. There was a Tuesday, some ordinary one, where you sat at the table with a coffee you didn't drink and just stopped. Not crying, not a breakdown, just still. The researchers who studied women at that exact moment had a phrase for it. They said the woman had come to the end of her rope, the place where the body and the mind both say, no more, at the same time. You didn't have a phrase. You had to be up in 20 minutes anyway. So that's the story of how she got set down. Now here's the part I actually called you here for. You didn't lose her. You filed her. Somewhere you swore you'd get back to. When things calmed down. When everyone needed you a little less. When there was time. And you never got back to it. But filed is not gone. The woman you set down to pick everyone else up is still in there. And she has been waiting in the room where you left her this whole time. She didn't walk out on you. You left her. With a promise. And she believed you. Going back to get her isn't some grand reinvention with a soundtrack and a before and after. It's quieter than that. It's walking back into the one room you've been avoiding because some part of you was afraid of what she'd say about how long you took. So let her be angry. Let her be glad. Just open the door. And here's what nobody told you, because the story you were handed only goes one direction, downhill. They told you the years coming are the lesser years. Less wanted, less interesting, less you. But the people who actually study how women feel as they age keep finding something the fear story leaves out. For a lot of women, not all, I won't lie to you, the emotional weather doesn't get worse after this. It gets clearer. Steadier, more honest. The exhaustion you're in right now may not be the ceiling of your life. It may be the floor, the bottom of the dip, right before it turns, which means midlife might not be the end of her at all. It might be the first time, the actual first time, she gets to come back, not as a reinvention, not a comeback for anyone to applaud. Just her, taking up room, as if she's allowed to, because she is. So go back into that kitchen, same scene. Someone asks if you're okay. You don't have to lie this time, but before you say anything to them, I want you to say one thing to her. Before you close this and go do one more thing for somebody else, tell me one thing you want. Not need. Want. Something with no use in it at all. Nothing that serves a single other person. And if it takes you a full minute to come up with it, if you sit there and the line stays dead and you have to really dig, then sit with that minute. Don't rush it. Don't fill it. That minute is the whole reason I made this. She's in there. You just heard her. Now go get her.